We are Americans, male and female, from many races and cultures from all over the world. One thing above all else is we are patriots who protect our nation and defend, when necessary, our Constitution from attacks both foreign and domestic. Today, as American patriots, we must take back our country from those who want to destroy it and us. We must start by taking back our children and their education. Parents, not union, should be in charge of our children's education. We must be sure that they are taught about the greatness of America and its people. Our children should not be indoctrinated with the belief that parents are racist and are evil and trying to destroy the world. As patriots, we must take back our country from foreign nations who want to destroy us and our way of life. Yes, as patriots, we want America to be first. We want an open and fair trade policy, energy independence, safe cities, and secure borders where we can grow and prosper as a nation of free people. Become an American patriot. Help take back America by voting Republican in the November 8th election.
Welcome, everyone. I'm Kathleen Fitzgerald. I have Vicki Tompkins and Samantha Goldberg. You are going to listen to a fantastic show. This is Moms Across America, so get ready. Now, you know that we have been talking about Title IX for about 3 weeks, and we've laid down some very important information for you. So if you are curious and want some of the backstory, please go to some of the shows that you can hear. And so we're going to talk about Title IX, and apparently I want to give a shout out to the Moms Across America. You have laid over, well, they say 240,000 plus comments, but Vicki's got a different number, and Samantha has a theory. So why don't you ladies enlighten us on the statistics and those numbers and why they seem to be different?
Well, it is very fascinating that our government, if someone shows up and says, I'm from the government, I'm here to help, run. Anyway, that our government would say that there's only, well, I'm looking at a number from Sunday, 184,000, when at actuality, it was closer to 500,000. And Samantha's going to touch on this more here in a minute, but I find it so terrible. That's the best word I can think of right now, that they would change the numbers to try to make it look like that the American people really don't care. I mean, that's the bottom line. They want to make it look like we just don't care and no one is participating in the comments. And so they're basically shutting us down. So Samantha, what is it that you were talking about earlier about how they're shutting down you and different other organizations?
So thanks, Vicki. So Moms Across America, as you know, a lot of the sites that we have now, including Google, they are censored. A lot of social media that we're working on or we're posting things on is also censored. Being a TV host and a personality, I've talked about many subjects that are not exactly material that they want everybody to know. I've been censored. My comments have been deleted or taken down substantially, including the views or watches to any of the videos or things that I've posted. So be very clear that if we are talking about controversial things that are sort of out in the media, not really 100%, understand that they don't want us to believe that it's either as important information or that our information is something that people are interested in listening to, which obviously from hearing Vicki and seeing those numbers, you can tell that they've declined. People can't undo a view, but just so you know that on social media, YouTube, Vimeo, any of those platforms, it cannot be rescinded unless it's from the actual company itself. And the government is very attached to that. So I just wanted everyone to be aware that this is happening. It's not just here in the United States. It's global, and it's social media at its finest. This is the state that we're in right now. And as we get closer to the election in November, we're going to find ourselves outed in a lot of places for saying things that we believe in. And we should stay very firm on what we believe And if our posts are taken down, we need to continue to keep putting them up until we have the viewership that we need to fight some of these issues that we have here against our children.
Thank you, Samantha. So, got a question for you. This is all put on by the Department of Education, this Title IX expansion. And they said on the Federal Register, if you go to Federal Register and type in the sexual discrimination Title IX, a lot of information will come up. They say they're going to save $9.8 million to $28.2 million. What's your comments on that, and how do they get those numbers?
I think a lot of those numbers are fabricated. They're not actual numbers that have anything to do with research at this time. As I was mentioning before our show today, I have my degree in K through 9, my certification, and so the narrative in the school system is not so much about numbers at this point and more so the cause that they are asked to press onto our children in schools by the government. The government and the school systems are very tightly intertwined right now. And so there will be no actual number. The CDC proved that with shutting down all of our numbers related to COVID. You can tell how quickly numbers can disappear. If somebody in government feels that that's the way it should be, or if we should state a certain number, that's the way it is. If they feel it should be taken away, that's what it is. That is where we are in our current state, unless things change in November. It will continue to go in that direction, unfortunately.
Does that sound familiar to you guys when you see the government taking down posts and doing things like that the people are putting up? I feel like that's a communist country. That's what communist countries do. That's the kind of stuff, the kind of propaganda that communist countries put out there. And I'm sorry, this is America and we're free and we're not going to lose our freedom of speech. And the only way we're going to keep it, and we mentioned this early on when we were talking pre-show, the only way we're going to keep this is to keep pressing, because they're going to bring up something new all the time. Title IX this week, next week it's going to be about marriage, and then the following week it's going to be about gas, and it's going to be something every week. And we just have to stay on top of it and keep pushing back, because if we don't, they'll just keep on doing what they're doing. Let's hope that what has happened with Title IX, parents have pushed back enough to say, and let me read this quote. This is from a commentator. While parents across the country are demanding the rejection of woke policies, the Department of Education instead has chosen to hijack Title IX to force gender ideology on children without their parents' knowledge or approval. People are going to keep pushing back. We are moms across America because we are mama bears, and we're not going to keep letting people do things to our children without our permission and without our knowledge. So the more we keep pushing back, moms across America, the more we, the people, will be able to get our voices heard.
Yeah, you had said something. Oh, sorry, Sam. You had said something pre-show too that was saying, why do they have to fake numbers or exaggerate in anything if it's a good thing to do?
Exactly.
Because it's fake information.
Well, isn't that not propaganda that we see in communist countries? They say things are great. We have this and we have that. And the people are looking around going, no, we don't. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
I mean, what was some of the stuff you were reading about, Kathleen?
Yeah, let me read. Okay, so now if you go to the Federal Register, Moms Across America, Federal Register, I think it's whatever, Federal Register, you will be able to get the current proposals that they're doing. And I looked it up. It just took me a couple minutes to find in March of 2021, they laid some groundwork for this Title IX. And their statement was, this is from the Department of Education, and I wonder, how does the expansion of Title IX fulfill this? All students are guaranteed an educational environment free from discrimination on the basis of sex, including discrimination in the form of sexual harassment, which encompasses sexual violence, and including discrimination on the basis of sexual orientation or gender identity. So they're laying the groundwork for this way back, last year. And so what we have now is just more and more and more. So just go to the Federal Register and you'll find something. There was something that was just put in September 12th by the Biden administration on biosurveillance. So you're going to want to check that out too. I just want to throw that in there. So, but this is really important that we keep abreast on the newest and latest, greatest, I would say, crap that they want to try to push down our throats concerning our children. And Moms Across America, I can guarantee you, we're going to be on this. We're going to stay on this, and we're going to always bring you the updated information the best we can. Now,
so we need to take a real quick break, Kathleen. We need to take a real quick break.
Not yet. We're
okay.
at 9 minutes. Yeah, we got a little bit of time, so let's
okay.
Continue
My
with
time's
the
off.
conversation. No, that's
May
okay.
May I say something? I just want to put something out there for the Moms Across America and Title IX. What I want for everyone to think about is this really is not about discrimination. I just want to give an example about a restroom, for example. You have an individual who chooses to be himself, herself. Could be by the day, could be by the hour, it could be by the week. We don't know. It's not about discrimination. It's not about rights. It's more about the safety of our children. And going into a restroom and feeling safe, knowing they're in the right place. It's not about an individual who decides to change their sex. It's more so about an individual who chooses to be able to go to the restroom and feel that it's okay. So do you want this for your children? Do you want your children to feel not safe using a public restroom because of these rights that are given to somebody who's uncertain of their sexuality? Or maybe they don't want to be certain about their sexuality, but why do our children need to suffer with more anxiety on top of everything else with using the restroom, which is already an anxious subject for so many students because teachers never allow their kids to use the restroom during classroom, and it's a big anxiety issue for a lot of students nowadays. So that's just adding on to the list. But think about it. Do you want your children to be in that state of mind wherever you go? Because that's what it's going to be if we don't fight back.
But it's not just the children. Now it's coming into us moms. I mean, how are you when you go to a public restaurant or restroom now? I know for me, I'm like my daughter always says, I keep my head on a swivel. I'm constantly looking, trying to make sure that no one's there that's going to try to hurt me, or maybe my grandchild that I'm taking to the restroom. That constant, it shouldn't be that way. And all these types of things that they're trying to put in place, it's just making women feel more unsafe. That's where I am. And maybe I'm wrong about it, but that's where I am with it.
I just want to read one comment, and then Vicki will take us to break. This is just one of the 60,000 comments that are uploaded so far on the Federal Register. And this, you are using non-discrimination laws in an illegal and unconstitutional way. And if this hits my kid's school, we will file a lawsuit. So I want to just thank you, Megan, for doing that. So thank you, Moms Across America. We love you so much. So.
Well, Moms Across America, we're going to take a really quick break and we'll be right back. And yes, thank you, Megan, for those comments. And don't forget, you can get your free constitution at getmyconstitution.com. We'll be right back. And thank you so much for being with us.
It's magical, filled with wanderlust and courage. It is a story about an unlikely hero, one that is a page-turner and will inspire you for years to come. It makes a great gift. Sad Eyes by master storyteller Dan Perkins. Now available at hollismedia.net.
Well, welcome back, Moms Across America. We're so glad to have you on the show today. And as before we went into break, I just wanted to remind you, if you get a free copy of your Constitution, it's getmyconstitution.com. getmyconstitution.com for a free copy of the Constitution so you too can be aware of your human rights in America today. Welcome back.
It's good.
So I would like to read just a few comments from the Federal Register because it's so exciting to see what moms and dads and parents, grandparents, child advocates, all of you people out there, we just want to highlight, we're very proud of you. We're so very excited that you have commented. So let's just comment. Let's just see what this one says. Oh, I'm writing in opposition of this rule redefining sex as used in Title IX of the Education Amendment of 72. For 52 years, Title IX has provided important protections and opportunities for women by prohibiting discrimination on the basis of sex. While parents across the country are demanding the rejection of woke policies, the Department of Education instead has chosen to hijack Title IX to force gender ideology on children without their parents' knowledge and approval. The proposed rule is lawless interpretation and is a complete overreach of the Department of Education. As a 71-year-old woman who has cherished Title IX, this is abhorrent and must be stopped. Please do the right thing and oppose the Biden regime. And let's see. Thank you, Margene. We love you. That was a great comment. I just like to, I'll do another one later.
Yeah.
Oh, I have one. I have one that I got from an article. Sorry, let me see. The article dated the 12th of September from Fox News, actually. I usually don't look at Fox News stuff, but hey, this is a good one. It says your rule changes will destroy girls' sports, and I think we all know that. It will no longer exist. Your rule changes will subject girls to boys in their private spaces. We've talked about that. Your rule changes will perpetrate the spread of confused children who claim to be another gender to fit in. That peer pressure stuff is something we need to discuss, ladies, because we haven't talked about that much. One parent wrote saying they can't even publicly comment on this issue without fear of retaliation. Now that right there is wrong. First of all, I know there's a lot of kids out there that are just trying to fit in because it's the in thing to be something that you were not born as. And then this whole fear of retaliation. I mean, come on, whether you like Trump or not, the stuff that's happening with him and all the people around him that are maybe close to him, how their phones are getting taken, the FBI is knocking down their doors. That is a true and real thing that people are starting to feel, and that should never be known in America. So these are just a few things that are happening that we're going to see that more and more, I think, as we talk about this Title IX. Hey, that may be happening soon for us, knocking down our doors.
Vicki, let me ask you guys a question. Do you notice the narrative in the last 2 years has a specific focus on female?
Yes.
Yes.
Why is that?
Well, if you noticed, first it was about employment. It was about women having the same rights in a working environment as a man, being able to hold that position. And then it won for a while. I think we got some attention, but something got in the way of that narrative, and females felt that they were not being as productive, that they didn't have the same rights as a man did in those particular positions, and they ended up leaving. The percentage is quite high of women that walked into a male's position, which shouldn't even be worded that way, but yes, it is. That's the way it's been for a very long time, and felt that they were not supported as a gender in that particular position. That's all over the internet. Lots of people complaining about that. But what I've noticed in the last couple of years is that it's really taking away the rights of the female. If you think about gender association, the men are not so worried about it, but the female is worried. So if you look at when we spoke about the swimming race and the transgender woman that won, and the governor of, who was it, Florida? Or I don't remember who it was who said that the second place person should have won. It's a woman's sport.
It's a woman's sport.
But if you notice, you don't see any women integrating themselves into a male situation and the men complaining about that. It seems like it's just focused on us as a species, female species. It's like trying to see if they can, change not only the DNA, but our outside as well. Like we're transforming from one person to another. A little freaky, don't you think?
But you can't. But here's the thing: it is freaky, but you can't change it. You can't
You
change
can.
the
There's a point.
DNA, the physicalness. You know, if my husband and I were both in our prime, in our 20s, we were both fit and ready to do whatever, take on the world. I can guarantee you, he would beat me in a foot race every day of the week.
Yeah.
Every day of the week. Not because he's a man and it is all because he's a man and I'm a woman.
Yeah.
He is built differently. I am built differently. Women are designed a certain way. Men are designed a certain way. And I don't care how you try to change that, because a lot of people don't understand those who are quote unquote transitioning. They will be on medications for the rest of their life to be able to stay in that state. I don't have to take any medications to be a woman. But as soon as I try to start being a man, I'm going to be on medications to keep my femaleness under wraps.
Away.
Who wants to do that? I mean, this
This
was listed as a mental illness in the
Yes.
the books of the doctors forever until the last 10 years.
now
So that's
it's
pretty
like
interesting.
schools are promoting it.
Let me throw this in there. Kate Brown just announced a little bit ago that she's going to declare that Oregon is so racist and that they have to do some laws, but also that there's a mental health crisis. So they know what they're doing. They know what they're stirring up, and they know what they're propagating, and they're farming our children basically. And
Yes.
it's pretty horrific, to
What do you-
think about it. And let me just point this out, that here's the problem, part of the problem. Number one, I have to point out that this bypasses Congress, and that's
Yes.
not okay. That is absolutely unacceptable. That's the top one for me. That bypasses Congress, because we know Congress is the only one that makes laws.
That's right.
And so, also that we know that there was a man or a transgender that went into a female prison, and then female prisoners were coming up pregnant. Now,
Yep.
that's kind of double dipping. That's taking the most of being a man and then taking advantage of the women's, privacy and rights too. So what makes you think if you go to college, your precious daughter's in a dorm and you're paying a high premium for that child to be in college, and now by law, they are forced to room with a male? What happens in the night? He has his package, still intact, most likely.
Those
And
designs
so
are still
this
there.
is not a good thing.
No, it's not a good thing. But these people think they're being, I don't know. It's like, to me, most countries do not fall apart from the outside in. They fall apart from the inside out. And what we are doing is we're trying to, well, not we, I'm going to say what some of these people are trying to do who sit in the White House right now is destroy us from the inside out. Because think about this. If everybody tries to change genders, quote unquote, where are the babies coming from? That reduces our population. You get
There you
less than
go.
2.5 babies born. There's a number out there. If we lower that average to like 1.5, there's no coming back. Look at what's happening in all these other countries where they limited how many children you can have. That is significant to a country, to a land, to a people. So why do you think they're wanting to open the borders? Guys, all of this stuff is tied together, how they play the end from the middle. And I tell you what, this is destroying our country on so many levels, mentally, now physically.
It's just another part of the narrative to, you know, not have to worry so much about population control.
There you go.
That's a whole different subject, guys. But
Yeah,
that's something
could
we should
go
definitely
all
cover on. Oh, yeah. I know Moms of America, we're probably jumping a little far ahead here, and it's a little bit of a thought process, but this is not, conspiracy theory. If you look there, you will find it is out there for you to read, to learn, to make your own personal decisions. And I think, as moms across America, we can all agree that we want the best for our children and we want the best for our family. And continuing to listen to Moms Across America, we're going to share those things that are not just conspiracy theory. They are out there. We're just getting the news to you in a different way. That's all.
Yeah, so true. And I think that's how and why the show was created and why we decided to have the logo. I hope everybody likes our logo. If you haven't seen it, then you'll definitely have to check it out because it's amazing. Yeah. Yeah. We've done a lot of work here. Go ahead.
I want to mention one thing that I don't think there's so many parts to this that we haven't even touched on. One of them I was just reading here in this article. There's a lot of girls, women who have been sexually abused in their past. Can you imagine the kind of can of worms we are opening for those women, for those females, for those young girls who have been sexually abused, and now say it's a 15-year-old who had been abused and she's getting involved in sports and she's finally getting to where she's comfortable again with who she is, and then here's this guy in the dressing room. I'm telling you, this has more far-reaching impact than I think these people really realize. And, this show is Moms Across America. We're talking to moms about their children and what's happening in our country. And this is one of those things I can guarantee you, the brains that were in the room working up these changes did not think about it, or they purposely did it because they want that control and power over a female. And this should make all of us stand up and say no more. Enough.
Agreed.
Well, ladies, another show. I know we've spent a lot of time talking about Title IX, but this is something that affects all of us in this nation. And again, Moms Across America, we really want to thank you for getting out there and making your voice heard with your comments. I know I had sent information out to a large group of people, and I got responses from them that they have made their comments. So thank you guys so much. Remember, Moms Across America, you are America, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Inflation for most people is causing them to use their credit cards to try and make up for income shortfalls. How big is this problem? In the second quarter of 2022, Americans added $46 billion to their credit card balances. Some of that could be you. The Federal Reserve Consumer Credit Report showed that the rate of interest on credit cards went from 14.56 to 16.65%. Those Americans struggling with credit card debt saw their delinquency rates escalate from 1.66% to 1.81%. The Cambridge Debt Consolidation Program may be able to help you reduce the interest rates by 2/3 and cut your time to pay off the debt from 30 years to as little as 5 years. If you're struggling and you want professional and objective help getting your credit house in order, then call 1-855-435-2066 or go to the website cambridgeyescredit.org/BW-podcast and get your house in order.